What's up, everybody? I'm Naya, the founder of EcoWelco, and I'm bringing to you all a practicing presencing series. I had the idea recently to go through different ways to practice presencing, also known as just practicing becoming more aware, or practicing awareness, and through your everyday. So this first one, video one, this one. This one is about practicing presencing or practicing awareness, but presencing would be the word that I would typically be using throughout this series. Practicing presencing from the inside out. So practicing presencing internally. That's going to be the focus of today's video. Also do note, accompanied with this talk of me just kind of going into what it means to practice in an internal way, there's also a guided meditation that you can follow along that will help you understand what it means to practice in presencing from an internal point of view. Okay? So, first and foremost, what does it mean? What is presencing and what does it mean to practice it? Like, that sounds like a made-up word. I mean, it probably is. I don't know the last time we said presence. You need to be presencing yourself. Like, I don't know. That's not like good. We usually say you need to be more aware or whatever it may be. But aside from English language, because whatever, practicing presencing or allowing yourself to come to the present moment, that's the definition of it. It's allowing yourself to practice being in the present moment, allowing yourself to experience the present moment in any way that you are, can, whatever it may be. So when you're practicing presencing from an internal point of view, this practice is essentially you bringing yourself to the present moment with something within you, right? So a lot of the times you may experience presencing practices that are rooted in the breath, right? So they're rooted in you focusing your attention on the temperature of the air coming in your nostrils and out, or the expansion of your belly. So when you're doing belly breathing, pointing here, and just kind of like the sensations of your breath or the sensations that you slowing your breathing down can give to you. So that is something that I illustrate with you, that we move together in the guided meditation, is how to practice presence, or how to bring yourself into the present moment with your breath alone. On top of using your breath, which the breath is really, really great at no matter what type of situation you're going through, whether or not you're just taking a stroll through the park, you're resting, or you're in a dire situation that's really pulling you, what we like to say, out of character, really pulling you off your balance, bringing you into a really, maybe sad, aggressive, angry, whatever type of state. Your breath can literally recenter you. At any moment in time, it can de-stress you at any moment in time. It's the process of bringing more oxygen into the body and allowing yourself to take a couple of moments to breathe alone. Those couple of moments can make the difference between you perhaps doing something that you don't want to do, or allowing something to happen to you that you don't want to happen ultimately. So practicing presencing from an internal point of view is you literally using the tools that you already have, the things that you're already naturally doing, like breathing, like thinking, right? That's going to be the next part I'll talk about. Using those tools to bring yourself to the present moment, to help you de-stress, to help you process, to help you align, realign, whatever it may be. So that's going to be practicing presencing using your breath. When you also practice presencing, you can also use your mind. I mean, shoot, we're using our minds all the time to do stuff anyway. We're using our minds to solve problems, to think about things that maybe we like or don't like, to try to be creative, which arguably comes from a different place, but that's not for today. And so many other things. We use our thoughts, we're using our mind all the time to essentially live our lives on a daily basis. And whether or not you feel like your mind is filled with negative things, with really intense, really heavy things that are stressing you out, giving you anxiety, whatever it may be. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot, especially in this world, to be stressed about, to have anxiety about. I mean, left and right, you're finding out about something really, really heart-wrenching, really egregious in this realm. But just like you can focus all of your attention, you can use your mind's eye, you can use your thoughts, you can use your awareness, which in another series, we'll talk about how awareness is a superpower. But when it comes to using the mind, your awareness, your thoughts, to presence yourself, to practice presencing as you would use your breath, essentially you could be using your awareness, your thoughts, to focus in on a specific point in the body, or a specific feeling in the body, or a specific sensation. You can also be using this to, and this focus, this awareness on these specific points, these specific sensations, these specific areas, can really help to bring you into the present moment. And accompanied with the breath and your awareness together can really create this like zoned in, or like this, what they call like a flow type state of awareness, that you're essentially just kind of like in the moment. You're literally floating, and you're just, it can feel like you're floating, right? Depending on what type of experience you have. Now, everybody's experience is going to be different. It's going to feel different. But a presencing practice can really bring you into the present moment, and it can be compounded when you're using your breath to add more presence to that, right? So, and of course, sometimes during presencing practice, we'll also go over this in a guided meditation. There may be times when your mind starts to wander and starts to think about those things that, you know, like, oh, my to-do list, or where I gotta be, or whatever it may be. So your mind may go in that direction. But the reality is that when you're practicing this presencing practice, you can practice it at any time. You can practice it if you decide you want to do it in a quiet place. You could do it there. A lot of times the internal presencing that I do can be very much so like in my quiet time, or it can be, you know, when I find myself in a stressful situation. But presencing at the end of the day, using your mind and or your breath, or what I like the most is a combination of the two, because wow, can really bring you into the present moment. So that's really what practicing presencing is bringing yourself to the present moment, and it allows you to tap into a different perspective. It allows you to see things differently than the one way that you might be seeing it. And that's the power of presencing, and that's the power of practicing presencing, because with time, you may not find yourself as like annoyed, or as caught up, or as sucked in, or as attached to things that are happening in this world. When you are practicing presencing, you really get a hang of it, and you're able to tap into it on a more frequent basis. Meaning you're able to channel it, you're able to recognize it, and you're able to practice. You'll find that how you feel about things, or how you interact with things or people, how you react to situations, things, people, places, whatever, what you feel like your attention should be focused on, where you feel like you need to be, where you need to go, everything will begin to become clearer, more aligned. And perhaps there may be shifts that begin to happen in your life, but for your greatest and highest good, and for your path of least resistance, essentially, because you're allowing yourself to tap in, not to the world, not to what you're supposed to be doing based on the world's terms, but you're tapping into this place, this deeply limitless and expansive place of unconditional love that is the self, that is consciousness, that is presence, that is awareness, that is the ever-present moment, which is now. Because at the end of the day, there's only now. I know sometimes we hear that and we're just kind of like, what does that mean? Because there could be a tomorrow that I'm thinking about, and a yesterday that I'm thinking about. But you're doing all that right now. You're thinking about tomorrow right now, and you're thinking about yesterday right now, if that's what you're doing. So once we begin to allow ourselves to understand that there's really only a now, there's really only this present moment, as we continue to practice presencing, we'll begin to realize, wow, this is serious. There's really only this present moment. So that's what this series is all about. So this is part one, that I'm just kind of breaking down practicing presencing from an internal point of view. And I will be digging into part two, will be about practicing pregnancy using external sources, external stimulation. So that would be interesting as well. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're being caught up by the things of the world when you're using external stimulation to practice presencing, but it's really interesting how you can use yourself and use external things, people, places, whatever it may be, to come to this present moment, really zapped into it. So hopefully these type of practices are helpful for you in some type of way, and hopefully you are able to enjoy them. So be sure to tap into the guided meditation that accompanies this little explanation here. So see you in part two.